Hey everyone, welcome back to LOWLuxury. Today is a super fun one because this is the first episode of a new series that I'm calling LOWLuxury Grails. And what we're going to do in this series is take a look at some other pieces that we normally wouldn't look at in our Legit Check series. Maybe that's because it's something that I bought at resale, so it doesn't have all its tags, or it's by a brand that we've already looked at before, or isn't really worthy or right for a legit check, but is definitely worthy of being looked at in its own way. So today we are going to definitively answer the question, is this the best off-white t-shirt ever? Obviously that's super subjective and up for interpretation, and that's not a question that can be answered, but whatever. So what I love about this new series is we get to do some new things, like look at the context behind a piece like this, where it came from, where the inspiration came from, what it's all about, and we're also going to look at some of that usual stuff like the tags and the details, and after all that, we're going to try and get a fit off with it. So let's get into it. Oh, and hey, before I forget, subscribe to my channel. If you're into this video, you'll probably be into a bunch of my other ones, so get into it. That's right, take a look at that. We're moving up in the world because we're looking at this piece on a mannequin that I bought on Craigslist. Off-White clearly has a love affair with art movements. Post-modernism is one that is consistently name-checked. But in spring 2019, Virgil dubbed his entire collection Impressionism, and it's easy to see why. This t-shirt from pre-spring features an all-over print from an 1874 Claude Manet painting of his friend Claude Manet on his boat. But Virgil's never one to let go of an opportunity to brand a piece. Subtly added in are off-white pattern prints in black, but they bleed into the colors of the Impressionist brushstrokes. My favorite of these prints is down here right at the bottom of the hem, just barely fitting in there. I think that's great placement. You've also got that classic off-white kind of quality tag in the quotation marks, just adding in a tiny bit more of that branding. The Impressionists are an interesting bunch, and when you dig in, you start to see why Virgil feels a kinship with them. These painters started using the modern techniques of science to perfect their color palettes, dialing in exact hues that were unachievable before. Think about off-white, starting with even the most obvious, the name. Virgil clearly has a fascination with color and hue. The Impressionists weren't only about color though. The website Lifestyle said of the movement, meanwhile thin, soft brushstrokes caught a particularly fleeting impression of light, just like the mesh fabrication of this t-shirt. I think that's very intentional. There's a reason t-shirts are just about always made of cotton. To stray from that requires a clear reason to warrant it, and this piece does, I think. Another really interesting aspect is this kind of weird ribbed collar here, and it's in a contrasting black, so that's at the collar and at the sleeves. The Impressionists thought that the artist's or viewer's perception or impression was just as crucial as the subject matter of the painting itself. That might as well be Virgil's own words on the ideology of his brand. The man couldn't have said it better himself. Manet and Monet's haters, for some reason, accused their colors of being vulgar and said they couldn't draw, much like Virgil is told he's not a real designer. Just as these artists centuries ago faced ridicule from the classical European art world at the time, Virgil faces incessant criticism that he's style over substance and that he values hype over art. This shirt isn't hype. It's romantic, a love letter to artists who he sees a kinship with. It's really sweet in a way, and that leaves this shirt imbued with an emotion that much of the Off-White catalog honestly lacks. For that reason, I don't think there's a more pure encapsulation of what Off-White at its core stands for. It's kind of ironic but fitting that it comes through the direct appropriation of another artist's work. Virgil is often only as good as his inspiration, and he chose a killer inspiration here. Of course, it's got that classic kind of greenish off-white label, and the text on this is kind of a rubbery black. And if we look to the fabric tags, we can see that it is 100% polyester, far from the cotton of a normal t-shirt. And like most off-white tees, it was made in Portugal. So now that we've learned about this piece and we've checked out everything about it, let's see if we can put together a fit. So how do you put together an outfit with a shirt this loud? Well, the mesh fabrication of the shirt gives me kind of a casual gym vibe. So we're gonna go with some nice basic Fear of God Essentials shorts. And it definitely doesn't hurt here that the black trim on the shorts goes with the black trim of the shirt. And for shoes, we're gonna go with a favorite of Virgil's, the Jordan 5s. Again, the black here works really well with the trim on both other pieces, and the cream of the sole and the mesh goes super well with the shorts. Finally, if you're feeling cold, I think it would make a lot of sense to go with this open knit Alexander Wang hoodie. That knit really calls back the mesh of the shirt itself. And when you put them all together, you get a really striking activewear look that really screams style and screams something different, that you have a point of view that you're getting across through your clothes.